Saturday mornings once held a special kind of magic, a unique anticipation that buzzed in the air. It was a time cherished by kids everywhere. The sun barely up, casting a gentle glow, the house still quiet and peaceful. This was their time, a sacred space carved out just for them. While parents slept soundly, unaware of the adventures about to unfold, kids stealthily claimed the living room, TV remote clutched tightly in hand, ready for action. It wasn't just about watching cartoons, it was so much more than that. It was a weekly ritual, a secret club with its own language and customs, understood only by kids. No alarm was needed, the sheer excitement bubbling inside was more than enough to jolt them awake. Wrapped snugly in blankets, faces bathed in the warm, inviting glow of the TV, they dove headfirst into fantastical worlds of adventure, mystery, and uproarious laughter. For a precious few hours, the entire world, or at least the living room, belonged entirely to them. The shows themselves, the often absurd commercials, even the sugary, brightly colored cereal. They were all meticulously crafted and marketed specifically for kids, a world designed just for them. Saturday morning was undeniably a kid's domain, a kingdom ruled by imagination and remote control power. It was a glorious break from the often strict rules and expectations of the adult world. You weren't just passively watching TV, you were actively participating. You were enthusiastically joining Scooby-Doo's mystery-solving gang or wholeheartedly rooting for the heroic Super Friends. These beloved cartoons fueled countless playground conversations on Monday mornings and sparked wonderfully wild and creative imaginations that lasted all week long until the next Saturday arrived. It was a deeply comforting and familiar routine, a reliable promise of fun and adventure, no matter what challenges or disappointments the week had brought. The animated characters faced endearingly silly problems, solved them through the power of teamwork and friendship, and almost always managed to make you laugh out loud. Even if the underlying goal of those catchy commercials was to entice you to buy a new toy, the valuable lessons about the importance of friendship, courage, and the thrill of adventure often stuck with you long after the cartoons ended. Saturday mornings were far more than just a designated time slot on the television schedule. They were a fundamental cornerstone of the shared experience of growing up, a cultural touchstone. No matter what else was happening in your life, you could always count on this special time patiently waiting for you each week. It was a precious slice of freedom and independence, a much-needed weekly escape from the everyday, and a cherished shared experience that connected generations of kids, all united by the magic of Saturday morning cartoons. That's precisely why Saturday morning cartoons have become such a deeply ingrained and fundamental part of the collective childhood memory. Saturday morning magic didn't happen by chance. It was a carefully constructed phenomenon. It was engineered by TV networks, strategizing and innovating to capture young imaginations. They bundled all the best cartoons, the most exciting adventures, into programming blocks carefully curated for maximum appeal, turning the morning into a marathon of fun, a non-stop ride of animated entertainment. Each network, with its own distinct identity, ABC, NBC, CBS, each vying for dominance, had its own lineup, a unique blend of shows, and kids picked their allegiance for the day, choosing their favorite network and sticking with it. These blocks had catchy names, memorable slogans, and animated bumpers flashing across the screen, making the whole morning feel like a special event, a weekly celebration of cartoons. One show flowed seamlessly into the next, making it impossible to look away, completely captivating young viewers. The network started with shows for younger kids, gentle and educational, then ramped up to action-packed adventures for older viewers, full of heroes and villains. You might start with the Smurfs, cute and cuddly, then end with Thundercats, fierce and exciting, or He-Man, battling for the fate of Eternia. This careful planning kept kids glued to the screen for hours, a testament to the power of programming. The competition between networks was fierce, a constant battle for viewers, each trying to outdo the others, pushing the boundaries of creativity, with new shows and bigger thrills always striving for the next big hit. For kids, this meant a golden age, a treasure trove of entertainment, of creativity and variety, a seemingly endless supply of cartoons. The programming block wasn't just a schedule, it was a cultural phenomenon. It was a battleground for your attention, a constant tug-of-war for your eyeballs. Networks constantly shuffled lineups, experimenting with different combinations, introduced new cartoons, hoping to find the next big thing, and hyped up their blocks to win the ratings war, battling for the top spot. The result? A non-stop stream of entertainment, a cascade of cartoons and commercials. That defined Saturday mornings, shaping a generation's childhood memories. It was a curated experience, carefully crafted and meticulously planned, designed to keep you watching, hooked from the very first show. From sunrise to noon, a solid block of animated bliss. The programming block became the heart, the central focus, of the Saturday morning ritual, a cherished tradition for families across the country. And for millions of kids, eagerly anticipating the weekend, it was the highlight of the week, the ultimate reward for making it through another school week. The golden age of Saturday morning cartoons. A time when the world seemed to pause, just for us. It was a universe of endless adventure, a boundless expanse of imagination brought to life on the small screen. Every week brought new worlds, space heroes, mystery solvers, and slapstick animals. The variety was unmatched. Superheroes, funny animals, spooky mysteries, and more. Characters like Inspector Gadget, Optimus Prime, and Bugs Bunny became childhood icons, figures we looked up to and wanted to emulate. Their catchphrases echoed on playgrounds. Their posters covered bedroom walls. The animation was bright and energetic, with theme songs that still get stuck in your head, instantly transporting you back to those Saturday mornings. Who could forget the DuckTales or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles intros? These shows were simple, good versus evil, friendship, teamwork, but endlessly entertaining. The heroes always triumphed, the villains always returned, and the formula was comfortingly reliable. The stories weren't deep, but they were fun, and that was all that mattered. Saturday mornings became a celebration of imagination and laughter. The cartoons didn't just fill time, they filled childhoods with joy. Each show offered a new adventure, a new set of heroes to root for. The magic was in the variety and the energy, week after week. These cartoons created a universe of heroes and hijinks that still lives on in our memories. And for kids, it was the best part of growing up, a cherished time we'll always remember fondly. Saturday morning cartoons and commercials were inseparable. The phrase, "We'll be right back after these messages," was as familiar as any theme song. Commercial breaks were a parade of sugary cereals and must-have toys. Cereal mascots like Toucan Sam and the Trix Rabbit were as famous as cartoon characters. Toy ads turned action figures and playsets into epic adventures you had to own. These commercials fueled wish lists and playground dreams. Sometimes, the shows themselves were built around toy lines: He-Man, Transformers, My Little Pony. The line between show and commercial blurred, but for kids, it was all part of the fun. Parents worried about the marketing, but kids just saw a world of possibilities. The commercials were loud, colorful, and unforgettable. They made breakfast and playtime feel like extensions of the cartoon universe. For a few hours, everything on TV was made just for you. The ads were as much a part of the ritual as the cartoons themselves. Saturday mornings were a window into a world of treats and toys, and we loved every minute. For years, Saturday morning cartoons were wild and free until the FCC stepped in. Parents and advocacy groups grew concerned about violence and non-stop commercials. They wanted TV to do more than entertain, they wanted it to educate. The FCC listened, and in 1990, the Children's Television Act changed everything. Networks now had to air educational programming for kids each week. Limits were set on advertising during children's shows. Suddenly, networks couldn't just fill Saturday mornings with any cartoon they wanted. They had to follow new rules, balancing fun with education. The law sent shockwaves through the industry. Networks scrambled to create shows that satisfied both the FCC and young viewers. The old formula of action and adventure was no longer enough. A new era was dawning, one where education was just as important as entertainment. The landscape of Saturday morning TV was about to change forever. The Children's Television Act forced networks to rethink Saturday mornings. Cartoons now had to meet educational standards, not just entertain. Networks tried to stretch the rules, but the FCC demanded real educational content. Action-packed adventures gave way to shows about science, history, and social skills. The fun, zany energy faded, replaced by lessons and responsibility. For kids, it started to feel like school on a Saturday. Ratings dropped as excitement waned. The creative spark that defined the golden age began to dim. Animation studios shifted focus from toys to educational approval. While some great educational shows emerged, the magic of classic Saturday mornings was hard to recapture. The tradition was changing, and not everyone was thrilled. The regulations meant to help kids were, ironically, making Saturday mornings less special. The era of pure cartoon fun was slipping away. While regulations changed the content, cable TV changed everything else. Suddenly, families had dozens of channels: Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, all offering cartoons 24/7. No more waiting for Saturday morning, kids could watch their favorites anytime. The special event of Saturday morning lost its magic. Cable channels had different business models, less reliant on toy and cereal ads. They could take creative risks and offer new kinds of shows. Cartoon Network revived the zany spirit of old, but now it was always available. The audience scattered across hundreds of channels. The shared experience of millions watching the same show at the same time faded away. Broadcast networks couldn't compete and saw their ratings plummet. Investing in Saturday morning cartoons no longer made sense. The cable invasion was a game changer and a tradition breaker. The golden age of Saturday mornings was on borrowed time. Cable TV was just the beginning. The internet finished the job. Streaming services like Netflix and YouTube put kids in control. No more waiting, no more schedules. Cartoons were available anytime, anywhere. Binge watching replaced the weekly ritual. Commercials disappeared or became skippable. The idea of waking up early for a specific show became obsolete. Networks dismantled their cartoon blocks, replacing them with cheaper live action or news. In 2014, the last traditional Saturday morning cartoon block aired, ending a 50-year tradition. The decline was a perfect storm. Regulations, cable, and streaming all played a part. The shared magic of Saturday mornings faded into memory. The world had changed, and the ritual was gone. The curtain closed on a beloved childhood institution, but the memories would last forever. Even though Saturday morning cartoons are gone, their legacy endures. For millions, those mornings are a powerful source of nostalgia, a symbol of innocence and wonder. Just hearing a theme song or seeing a favorite character brings back memories of pajamas and cereal. This nostalgia fuels a vibrant fan culture, collecting toys, streaming old shows, and celebrating the classics. The influence of these cartoons lives on in today's animation. Modern creators grew up on Looney Tunes and He-Man, and their spirit shows in new cartoons. What we miss most is the shared experience, knowing millions of kids were watching the same thing at the same time. In today's on-demand world, that kind of ritual is rare. Saturday mornings were a cultural touchstone, connecting generations. The magic was a product of its time, a blend of technology, marketing, and childhood joy. It may be gone, but it's never forgotten. The spirit of Saturday morning cartoons lives on in our memories, and in the shows they inspired. For those who grew up with them, Saturday mornings will always be sacred.